opening up the call line. 'Alright, family, we are up. We are up, and everything looks like it's in motion. So, family, first off, I would like to welcome you to Gye-Nyame Journey Media, also known as the Congregation of the Mighty. I am your host, Brother Hatim, and of course, you know this is Tribal Quotes, and it's an audible summer production where we strive to blow up your old paradigm. Let me get these lines open. I had everything ready but my lines, so I'm going to open the lines up now, so you can feel free to call 535 ladies. It's time for y'all to be in bed. It's real life here at Gye-Nyame Journey. We ain't playing here. So I'm opening up the lines now. So join us for the conversation tonight on the Proverbs. Feel free. In the news, Bill Cosby has been sentenced to 3 to 10 years. You want for bed. Close that basement door for me and get your little stuff up in the bed. Real life here, Gye-Nyame Journey. I need to, you know, my daughter don't know that this new camera that I got, this new streaming device I got, it has a pause function. All right. I don't know what's going on with the streaming right now. So we up. If you out there, let me know whether you are listening in on our Gye-Nyame Journey app through Spreaker, or if you're listening to us directly on Spreaker because you followed the link. By all means, that I'm going to have to start bottling in the next couple of days. And it's pretty good. Yes, Lord have mercy. That ambrosia. So right now, for the plan, Kwame want his batch made. And then on the 7 gallons, on one of the 7 gallons, maybe 2 gallons, I'm going to produce some lemon, lime, and ginger. Alright, so let's get into the Proverbs. So now, if you got the black signal, throw up your hands. Let me know that you got that black signal so that I know that it is working and that it is up. I can actually go back and, let's see. It says something about the service for multi-stream. I don't know. Oh, they logged me out. What kind of shit is that? Oh my God. I got logged out. I'm on the chat and everything. So we're going to log back in and then we'll get into the Proverbs. I want to make sure that we out here, that we up, we kicking it. Let's see. All right, nobody in the chat. On appear. So, all right, here we go. Let's try logging in. All right, so we logging back in. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, some of y'all that might still be out there, because it's awful quiet for Ujima night, So I'm waiting for it to come up. So while I'm waiting, let's go and let's do. I wonder if it started over again. I don't know what's going on. I'm still learning, and it look all right. So let's go. Day 43. The greatest weapon against knowledge of our own ignorance. Proverb number 3 is when who falls in dream piece to understand. Okay, there we go. 5 of 6 is connected, so I don't know which ones are not connected. Let me see which ones it says connected. So let's see if it's streaming on Facebook. You have to say we up and online on Facebook, but I don't know because my family ain't hitting me up letting me know. All right, so once again, let me post up 64535. This is what happens when I start experimenting with this new tech. Sent result 4 succeeded. All right, whatever. All right, so if you out there, Facebook, let me know. If not, y'all can check me out on Spreaker. Let's start it off in order. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Well, I guess that proverb kind of debunks that, doesn't it? It says, rather than being caught up in our stress. And we have to understand that part of why you're stressing, a lot of times you're not able to come up with clear ideas for winning is doing to you. You have no time to come up with a creative method of defeating me. How you doing, brother? I'm like, okay, cool. Somebody watching on YouTube. Who is this on YouTube? Oh my God, Robert Estes, my man. How are you doing, sir? So we got to stop. We got to get out of the stressful thoughts, and we got to get into a mind frame for victory. A mind frame for victory is not stress. Stress is that you don't really have freedom. You know what I'm saying? Stress keep you in chain. It keep you mentally in chain. It keep you physically in chain. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you're under stress, you have to focus on what you... Now, with depression, with war, with all these things that are working against you, I have to keep you so stressed that you have absolutely no time to think about dealing with me. What you're thinking you are doing is you are allowing me to start changing my strategy while you're stuck right there in the moment. Stress keep you stuck, right? And it don't give you an opportunity to actually step out and look back in. Somebody just joined us on the call, and I'm assuming you didn't hear any of the proverbs.
I did not.
Okay, cool. Love listening. One of my favorite philosophers. Keep up the good work. Thanks, bruh. So for Lady J, or anybody else that's just now joining us, we have we're coming from the book called Gye-Nyame, compiled by Brother Hatem. That's me, right? Family, while you out there, go and take some time, like and share. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't joined one of the platforms, please go and follow one of the platforms or join one of the platforms. Also, feel free to sign up for morning. And I know some of y'all don't do that, right? But we got shows in the evening where you receive a text to let you know. The number is 614-300-1875. Right? Just text, type it in. You got a phone. Right? You probably watching me on the phone. Somebody else just joined us in the line. Somebody else just joined us. Toaster shirt. We got them in black. I got all sizes. The front says a daily toaster. You know what I'm saying? If you are a daily toaster, you join us. Or if you want to be a daily toaster, if you can't get up, directly stand. Welcome to the Congregation of the Mighty. In the morning, we do a show where we salute those ancestors. So we got Brother Shaka, as well as Proverb 1. But I'm going to read all 3 Proverbs so y'all can have time to digest. All right? So day 43. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. But that's by William James. The next one is the doorstep to, you know what I'm saying, Benjamin Franklin. And the last one who falls into a hole teaches everyone else wisdom. Yoruba. That's from the Yoruba people of well over another. And just a quick synopsis real quick. I was just saying that oftentimes if we are caught in stress, we're caught right in that moment. I know y'all be like, brother, how tell me you toast and say that the moment is the only thing we got. But we still have our minds and we're able to project and come up with different ideas that don't necessarily fit right in that moment. But it helps us in formulating strategies for victory, because when we're caught in stress kind of localizes our mind on where that stress is. And if we continue to focus on just the stress, we often miss the solution that we need to get out of the stress. As a matter of fact, some of us are caught up in this loop right now where we start trying to deal with the stress, which is actually the symptom of what's going on, rather than being able to step away for a second or step out of ourselves for a second so that we can look at the total situation so that we can move towards victory. You understand what I'm saying? So, anybody else got some thoughts on that one?
I do.
Well, throw them out, my friend. Throw them out.
Okay. Now, first of all, can you say it one more time slowly?
The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another.
Yes. A quick scenario, something that just happened recently. I had some other parents watch my son the other night, and it turned out into a situation that was very incompatible. And the conflict that had arisen could have become a situation. And while I was explaining the dilemma, as well as explaining the conflict, I realized that these two people breaking this type of information down when they about to have an argument with them. And I had to explain to them several times, now listen, I just need for you to listen to where I'm going with this so that you understand that I'm not bringing you any conflict, but I'm trying to get you to understand the danger that may come of it if you don't deal with it the right way. You with me so far?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
So the thing is that it took a moment for the husband to adjust to what I was saying. Like, no, listen, he's putting us on, and had to tell his wife to be quiet and listen, because everything that I was explaining to her, she was taking it from a very confrontational place, and she was trying to redirect accountability to me. And the husband finally got it. He's like, no, that's not where he's going with it. Just listen to what he's saying. To me, she was reacting based out of fear, because I'm explaining a situation that clearly shows where some accountability should have been, where they should have accepted a certain accountability. But she immediately went on the defense. And with her being on the defense, I let her know, like, listen, I can't even have this conversation with you right now. Because because we are caught in the act. See, because what I did by explaining the situation was invoked a certain stress which played.
Right.
But because it was brand new information to them, and they looking at it now, I'm thinking, you know, and I'm adjusting to the fact that they have to go through that stress of what I went through as I'm explaining a story, so that they understand the evolution of where my thought process is at now.
Step out. But I think we always talk about the, you know, this made me think about in the Bible when it says that God created heaven and earth by speaking it, right? There's power in our thoughts. There's power in our words. So the way in which if we choose not, that's why I always say, like, accentuate the positive. I remember a time when I was super ugly, right? And people say, oh, Janelle, you were never ugly. I was ugly. I was ugly in my words. I was ugly in my thoughts. I was ugly in my actions. I was a bully. I was confrontational. I was all of those things. I was obnoxious. I was all of those things for many years. Until my college career, right? All the things that happened to me, I could only see the negative. You know what I'm saying? So all this time I'm walking around, woe is me. I'm talking about, you know, the fact that my entire life has been a trial and tribulation, because that's my outlook. And so because that's all I could see through my eyes, that's all I could hear in my ears, everything looks like bad times are not so bad, because then I can see the glory in it. I can see the lesson in it. I'm going to give you an example. My son was at practice the other day, and some kid walks up to my son. They're having some issues in the locker room before practice, playing too much. One kid gets ice dumped on his head. Well, my son gets a concussion as a result.
What?
I have to take him to the emergency room to get a catch. Yes.
What?
Yes.
Wait. You kind of lost me. He came up behind and picked
Melvin up, dumped him on top of his head. Melvin came down head first on the linoleum floor, causing a contusion on his head, a knot. But you know, he has the dreadlock, so I couldn't see how bad this knot was until we are in the emergency room and the doctor is concerned, right? Doctor is so concerned that she says, I normally don't require or do CAT scans on children, but the way this knot looks and the way that your son is behaving, I'm going to need to see what's going on in his head, right? My son has never been injured, been playing football since he was 4 years old, turning 5. Never had a concussion in his life. All of a sudden, he had the concussion. So the way that it plays out, no one from the school, the athletic trainer, told him he had a concussion. They never called me. So I'm heated. I'm heated at the child who ducked my son on the top of his head. I'm also heated at the administration at the school. And so what happens is that out of this comes a lesson. I don't think that after hearing that this boy was remorseful, after knowing that there was a lot of our kids at this school and at this team, and some of the things that our boys have to encounter, and I say to the athletic director, this is a learning moment. This is a learning moment. There's a positive piece in here, because now you have a concrete experience, possibilities of what can happen when this thing happens. So sometimes we don't understand that what we encounter and what we go through is actually a lesson or blessing for someone else. You know what I'm saying? But we do have to step back, and we have to look at it that we can look at bad situations, and we can look at trials and tribulations, know that they're temporary. We can connect it to agriculture and understand that farmers have to sow. This is a process. Everything is a process. And so again, we have to look at it. It's our lens that we look at it. How we see things are negative, if we can't see the good that can come out of it, that's going to cause stress for us. But if we can...
Well said. Brother Robert says, since everything we conceive about the universe is in our mind, I have no doubt that the proverb is true. Shots out, following us on some of those platforms, feel free. That's your domain. Now, meditation is always a good way to kind of help us start. You don't get the solution. Sometimes, Robert, you's a mathematician. You know that sometimes you got to step outside of the problem so that you to get to where we're going. As a matter of fact, Brother Robert, you need to meet my brother Kwame. Kwame is also a mathematician. The shirts, I want to be on this, or what are y'all doing this weekend? As a matter of fact, this weekend we have about some of the stuff that we're doing, and learn about some of the other organizations that we're involved with as well. All right, so let's move on, ladies. Wisdom. God damn. My goodness. Y'all see that knot, right? Hold on, ladies. 2 layers, 3 layers. I'm not killing them on the ties. But go ahead, Lady J. Used to kind of tell us, you know what I'm saying? Learn from other people's mistakes. Clark said it, but history is the most qualified discipline to give us an idea of what's coming in the future, right? And if we tells us where the damn hole is, so we learn something about the area that the person that fell in the hole is in. So why we can't use that knowledge, and we need to start taking that in our life. We got people in our lives that made mistakes. What mistakes did they have? The holes that other entrepreneurs fall into. Black folks, we want reparations. What are some of the major mistakes that past organizations that talked about this made? People want to be don't want to be oppressed. What are some of the mistakes that other people that are in oppression have made, and to stay in oppression this long? I want to go to college. I want to be a mathematician. What are some of the holes that individuals that want to be a mathematician fell in? I want to be a scientist. I want to be a football player. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a politician. What are some of the holes that other people have fallen in? Because oftentimes we can learn, and I guess the term would be vicariously, by watching others. And if people make mistakes, now I want to go off a little bit, because in my book, I wrote another book. There you go, right there. It's called The Player's Pyramid. This is the updated version, right? In The Player's Pyramid, I talk about, so there's building, there are tools when you start talking about using the building blocks. All right. And in here I got seven tools. You're like, brother Hatim, I thought you wrote the book. How come you don't know your way through the damn book? So the 7th tool is have a mentor or a hero. The last tool that we will need is the ability to humble ourselves and get a mentor or a hero that we can aspire to be like. I know this can be damaging to some of our egos, but understand that it's good. We need to understand that there is always someone that may have done something similar to what we plan to accomplish. All we have to do is reach out to these people for advice, and they can help us avoid some of the pitfalls or some of the holes. These mentors or heroes can be alive or dead. If they're alive, we can reach out to them and ask them for advice, and even in some cases work with them for a while. In this case, the first thing that we must always remember is that they are human. We must never put someone so high on a pedestal that when they fall, they die. We must keep in mind that human beings cannot live up to the visions that we have of them. So let us accept their shortcomings along with their achievements. If your hero or mentor is dead, always remember that the library may hold your keys to contacting them. You can more than likely find some information on a great person or writing by a great person in the public library. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes, some of our heroes and some of our mentors fall in holes. When they do, if we are around, please watch where the goddamn hole is so that you don't have to repeat the mistake. You know what I'm saying? I see people making the same mistakes over and over and again. And like, even when you're talking to young people, I talk to people about generational curses. And generational curses don't have to be generational curses. They're generational curses because we don't pay attention to the mistakes that was laid by the previous generation. I often tell a story. I don't know who it was I was on the phone with, but I told a story about how my father's father had children and left their lives, and how my father had multiple children and left their lives, and how I decided not to fall for that because I saw some of the pitfalls. And I had an opportunity to sit down with my pops and talk with him about some of the pitfalls and saw how he saw the world. And I'm like, I can't allow myself to go to that level. Now, he did some good things and he did some bad things. But the piece was, I was able to glean from what he had experienced. I was able to listen to him and find out about some of the holes that he had fell in. Right? And all of us, we have people and examples in our lives that give us the keys to success. Because failure, let me say, the road to success is paved by the dust of our failures. I say it different ways all the time, but y'all understand what I'm saying. The road to success, the bricks in the road to the success are made from the dust of our failures. And those bricks don't have to just be your failures. They could be failures of others that were around you. They could be lessons that was given. This connects with the first proverb, because it's the greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Rather than focusing on the fact that the individual fell in a hole and feels stressed, if we can help them out, let's help them out. But let's focus on the whole surrounding area. What was the steps to him falling or her falling into that hole? And can we avoid the same trap? And if we can't avoid the same trap, can we construct a way so that we can fall into the damn hole and keep and climb out and keep moving towards?
The other day we discussed a proverb, and was talking about experience being the best teacher or something like that.
Right.
So experiences, depending on your current situation, is going to determine which proverb you can implement in your life, or which one is going to be relevant. I think experience is the best teacher, but if we can learn from other people, and that we should learn from other people's decisions, mistakes, to conduct ourselves and how to get ahead. But because we don't feel like they're relevant, or maybe because we always think about or want to, and so that's kind of where that takes me. I remember my mom would give me this advice when I was little, prior to me ever learning about reverse psychology, right? And she would tell me this message, this ideology, and the only thing that I could walk away without, it made sense to me. My mom wasn't trying to get me to walk down the same path she was walking down, where she was trying to, where I was not being promiscuous, where I was not being taken advantage of, but it was her uncle, and then it made sense to me. You know what I'm saying? And so something we hope that no harm comes their way, or that they can make it through these processes, these trials, these tribulations unscathed. Yes, we do. But we also have to accept that even once we give it to them, even once they see it, other people's experience, a lot of times experience is the best teacher. It's not the only teacher, though, but it is the best teacher. We should continue to share our experience. We should continue to share the experience of our ancestors, share their plight. But we also, again, have to remember that experience is the best teacher. Not the only teacher, just the best teacher.
All right. Brother Robert asks, is Lady J getting the fading in and out like we are? Lady J is on the line. So those people that's out there, the best way to actually hear, I just increased the amount of signal that could go out, but the best way to actually hear is on Spreaker. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all like the face expressions and shit like that, but the best way to listen to us is either to call in and be like, I just want to listen, or to actually get on the Spreaker app, or tap go to Spreaker. I'll type in a number for those that are interested, but Miss Navita says YouTube is playing good. Brother Robert asked the question: what can put a person in a position where they can step outside themselves long enough to have the insight that they are heading for one of the holes you mentioned? Now that comes with practice. That's why we have to. Like practice though. Like for example, if you've taken a martial art, you practice actually fighting. You know what I'm saying? Just doing the collars and shit is not enough. In order to really get good so that you can respond under the pressure, you have to actually put yourself into the fight. You have to practice. And oftentimes, you know what I'm saying, there's ways where we could do this. And like I said, some meditations, some type of mental practice, having keywords to help anchor you into something. Like, for example, I give people an example of an anchor, because what an anchor does, it anchors or locks you into a certain mind state. An example of an anchor is, if you ever saw the movie Gladiator, every time Gladiator would fight, you would see him, the very first scene, when he was on the horse, he would get off the horse and he put his hand down into the earth, and he would touch the earth, and he would smell the dirt, and that would help lock him into a mind state to prepare for battle. And you see him do this time after time throughout the movie, every time before a fight scene. And one of the things we got to teach ourselves or start incorporating into our lives is certain anchors. It don't have to be you touching the dirt. It could be you squeezing a pencil in a certain type of way. But you program your mind to take yourself to that peace when you're doing it. This is why you see a lot of Buddhists or people that pray with those prayer beads. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have those beads and you can be real agitated, but when you start doing them, they take you back to a different mind state. You see what I'm saying? We can control our mind states by having certain reminders, right? Certain reminders about who we are. One of the reasons I originally started growing my hair was to remind me about who I was. So every morning when I got up in the mirror, I had, boom, damn. That, you know, that's right, I'm in a struggle. I got, some people get tattoos, so when you take your shirt off, it's there.
That's why I wear my hair shaved. I remember being young, and my mother, she was in an incident. I don't remember if she shaved her hair before this, but she was in an incident where a man attacked her while she was in a car, and he busted the window, and the glass came inside and injured her head, right? So she had to cut her hair off. And I remember when I was little, I mean, my mom was fine. She was a beautiful woman. And even when she cut her hair, she was beautiful. Everyone would tell me. And I, looking at the pictures now, I know it. But back then I was so embarrassed. Because here my mom was looking like Sade with no hair, and so I had this shame associated with her hair. Now, that shame meant nothing for me because it was her head. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I wanted to be embarrassed when she would come. So for years, I wore these wigs, right? So I would wear these wigs, and I swore that when I took these wigs out, I looked like a different person. Then I had to put my wig in, right? So I would look like Shrek's Fiona, I think that's her name, when I didn't have this hair, and I put this hair on, and I would feel like I looked like a different person. So one year, I decided that I would just cut my hair, right? Mm-hmm. And then I loved it. I loved it because what happened was I had been hiding behind that hair, and now I had to use my charm. I had to use my confidence, right, to bring out that inner beauty in me. And so I loved it. And so what happened is I continued to shave my hair. And so when I tell people, because a lot of people, just like my mom, just like I had a problem with her, people will tell me, when you going to grow your hair out? Why you wear your hair like that? But what happens with me with my hair, it takes me back to my mother, who had this beauty that I couldn't even see until she was deceased, and I would have to look at these pictures, who had this beauty that that was greater than her hair, right? And so for me, that my hair centers me. My hair reminds me that I'm not my hair. My hair reminds me that it takes something from the inside to be beautiful, right? That wig might make me pretty in my eyes when I'm looking, but when I have to use my inner beauty, right? When my confidence is what makes me appealing, that's even more. That's what it's supposed to be, right? I don't need any hair to validate me or my likeness, right? And so I have to tell people this, because even when I stopped dyeing my hair, gray hair is hereditary in my family, so I dyed my hair from the age of 19 to 30 something. And when I stopped dyeing my hair, I remember my girlfriends, they were upset. Not me being upset, my girlfriends were upset because they didn't want to go to the club. They didn't want to be out with me and my hair be gray. Because, hey, now she's old, y'all must be old too. That's what they figured, right? But I had to explain to them, this is not about you. My hair can't bring you no shame. My shaved bald head, my gray hair can't bring you no shame. It's me. This is me. How can you allow what I do with myself to affect you and who you are? But that was a lesson, again, that I had to grow into. You know what I'm saying? And so some of these things are growth, but I agree with you about the hair and about the reminder. I don't know that I will ever grow my hair out. I don't know that I will. And it is in honor of my mother. You know what I'm saying? And I have to explain that to people and I even had to explain it to my children, because they didn't understand, why are you keep shaving your head at some point? And I had to explain to them, this is in honor of my mother. This is in honor of my recognition of something that I did not see as a child, that I had to come into as a woman. You know what I'm saying? And now it is my statement, not only to myself, but it's my statement to other young women, that you are more than your hair. You know what I'm saying? Your hair does not define you, per se. You define your hair. You know what I'm saying? You define yourself. But so I just wanted to share. I totally relate to that, because that's my whole thing with the mohawk, shave sides, kind of, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing that I have going on. It's the same exact thing. It really reminds me who I am. It reminds me of my inner beauty. It reminds me of my struggle. It reminds me of my strength. It reminds me of all of those things. And so it is, we say we're more than the hair, but even still with that, the hair continues, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the hair strengthens me. I get my source through this hair. You know what I'm saying? Through knowing that I can shave, I can be just this comfortable in my skin. Not caring what my friends think, not caring what my children think. This is who I am, right? And it reminds me of my struggle. It reminds me of where I'm from. It reminds me of who I used to be. It reminds me of all of those things.
All right, family. Those on Facebook, I hope that it cleared up for you a little bit. If not, you can hit us up on Spreaker, or you can go to Gye-Nyame Journey on YouTube as well. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we streaming on multiple platforms. The only thing we got left to accomplish is the iOS, and I want to get that out before Kwanzaa. All right, so Lady J crushed it. Shaka's been silent. Shaka, what's going on, man? Come on now. For those that didn't hear, the proverb, one who falls into a hole teaches everyone else wisdom.
All right. Now, the thread that really ties those two together is something that I heard off a Spike Lee movie once before. And he says that everybody is a teacher. People could teach you one or two things: what to do and what not to do. Right? And in that, on one level, I understand how we can learn from, from a very speculative position and watching somebody else's actions. And getting back to, some of the, because these proverbs tonight are very very linear with each other, I think. Buffering. My bad.
Okay, I'm sure, because, hey, man, our show's about to be like, oh, did it fall off? Go ahead, I'm listening.
On the same hand, oh, man, it was something so big onto it for so long, though. It'll come back. But when we watch that peculiar fellow who is not of the herd, or we watch what this peculiar rhythm may be, and I think that it takes a leader to be able to maintain that peculiar rhythm, if you will, during just this state of mediocrity. You understand? It's like, people, we just kind of like zone into a normal behavior so we don't stick out. We do everything it takes just to be on some cookie cutter stuff. Just like y'all was talking about the weaves, and I'm amazed at how real weaves look now, that I don't even believe it when a woman just got regular nice hair no more. Like, it's ridiculous how you can be put on. You know what I mean? And it's so ridiculous too. Like, I be watching I don't be watching, but I see that it's a big trend now. Dudes doing makeup videos, and they going straight from like straight up dude into woman. And this is a big thing. I don't know. Hello?
No, sir. Either somebody came on or somebody fell off. Somebody else is on the line, but keep on going, Chaka. We'll let them on in a second.
Yeah. And so, man, I done forgot all the way where I was going. I was talking about, I don't even know how I got to people doing makeup. Help me out, Tim. What was I talking about right before then?
Right before the makeup, you was talking about how you was amazed by the weaves and how people been buying into the weaves, and so
yes. So it's amazing how, like, no matter what you come to the table with, you could look exactly like that cookie cutter image. You know what I mean? Everything that you can do to modify your persona and what they doing, like they injecting themselves with something to be able to get that Nicki Minaj posterior. You understand? It's ridiculous of how far we go to put this mask on, running away from that true energy, which I think is everybody's independent test anyways, to see who you are and how you behave under, and going back into that, under stress. Because the piece is that if somebody is playing on your guilt or your mild character, if you will, then that can cause you a certain stress and be on the defense, because that comes out of a system of fear. You follow me?
Right.
But when you take ownership of who you are, how you are, and what you do, and, approaches you about a certain behavior, you let them say what they say, and you just let them know that it is what it is. And we just keep moving, right? Some people are not, we don't make ourselves available enough to be able to have that conversation. I think is necessary at times to experience that behavior from each other, to know that we got more cards than the ones that we typically play.
All right. So we got somebody new on the line. Who this?
This is Sister Navita on the line.
What's up, Sister Navita? You ready for movie night?
I'm ready for movie night. I'm ready. I'm recovering. I've been sick.
Okay.
So
we got to
bear
wait.
with me if
I got you. What's going on? You want to hit on
voice
this?
Here.
You want to hit on this?
I wanted to comment on this proverb.
Hit it up.
Can you read it for me one more time?
Sister Navita, I just wanted to say hi, and I wanted everybody to know that Sister Navita is a words with friends bully. But go ahead.
I know that I be whooping his butt, and then he be dragging off, not wanting to play. And I'm like, you know what? Go on, loser. I'm just kidding. But could you read the proverb again for me, Tim?
One who falls into a hole teaches everyone else wisdom.
All right. So one thing I like to do is kind of bring some of the proverbs into something that's going on presently that we all may be able to relate to, comment on, or what have you.
Here it comes.
Now, if you have to have been through the struggle, you can teach others who are going through the struggle.
Right.
That's how I look at that. Now, with that being said, I'm going to bring up the Bill Cosby allegation.
Ooh, I was wondering if somebody. Okay, go ahead.
And the struggle we're going to put those who have been through rape or sexual assault can help others who have been through rape or sexual assault, or even relate to others that have been through a rape or some type of sexual assault. I have even seen people comment, if you haven't been sexually assaulted, then you don't have a right to comment on this particular incident. So, with that being said, I've never been raped, but I have been sexually assaulted, and I'm going to tell you this much from being sexually assaulted. One thing I can relate with my other people who have been sexually assaulted, we may take a long time to come out. Some of us may never bring charges. We may be years before we come out and say who our accuser is, and some of us may never do that. But one thing I know that we all have in common is we don't hang with that motherfucker no more after that, though.
True.
We don't. That's one thing I find in common with us and even helping each other through the struggle. I've never had nobody say, well, unless it was a family member, that they actually continued to hang out with their assailant. And that's why, in this case, with what's going on, that doesn't sound all right with me. So I don't know if anybody else who has experienced any type of assault, even if it's not any sexual assault, if somebody has assaulted you, you want to keep hanging out with them after they done hit you upside the head with a bat?
Well, they done pushed you down the hole. They done pushed you into
the person that pushed you in that hole, you going to keep hanging with them? No, you're not. So I think that speaks a lot just to this case, and because he only was convicted on this one person who continued to be friends with him, not only afterwards, but took money from him as well.
Shut up. Is that... I ain't been following the story. Are you... So you saying that the woman that he was convicted for came to him several different times, even after being sexually assaulted, after being raped?
Yes. Yes. And she took money from him, was it like 35,000 or so many million she took from him at one time? And then after the fact, to me it seemed like once the money wasn't coming back no more, he's like, you ain't going to continue to hold this shit over my head, this, idea that, I think it was a blackmail thing. I'm going to tell the people this if you don't give me this. But they even hanging around each other, kicked it for years after the fact. And then she ended up wanting money at some point, so he gave her some money because he just didn't want the publicity, I feel. And then, bam, she still came out with the shit anyway. So, that should be anybody who's been through that struggle, they should find some kind of oddity in that.
So you brought it back. She brought it back. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm gonna say this, and I don't know how somebody will take it, but you know me. I feel like if we weren't drawn to this 30 to 40-year-old offense of Brother Cosby, that sometime in this timeline, especially with all that he's accomplished, I feel like it was time for like a lifetime achievement, something or another. I feel like because of who he is, not who he is, but what he has done and what is evident in his legacy, there's got to be some level of, you know what, some kind of card. I mean, am I wrong?
He should have some pull on what you're saying. But go ahead.
There is no card that you can pull. And I don't think for it. I think that I don't know if the man did it. I don't know what the hell the man did during that time. I don't know if he's guilty of doing this to her or if he's guilty doing it to other people, but I don't think that there's any card, and I do think that all of this was by design. So when they talk about the timeline and the events that were leading up to these accusations and what caused the snowball, I do believe that when they talk about him purchasing, what was it, ABC or NBC, and how this may have initiated this whole parade of these accusations, I believe that.
Right.
I do believe that.
He pissed somebody off. What he did?
Yeah,
I don't know. But he pissed somebody off.
They want you to stay in your lane. And when you go against the grain,
I'm not saying that, Bill, you shouldn't get a slap on your wrist because you did something that was inhumane in a sense in the eyes of the public right now. I'm saying that shit happened like 30, 40 years ago, like well before. I mean, maybe during picture pages, maybe.
You saying maybe statute of limitations or something like that?
Well, those cases weren't even tried because those cases were past the statute of limitations. The one that he is going to jail for happened, I want to say, 2004? I think that's what they were saying, 2004. And he wasn't convicted of a rape on that. It was a sexual assault on that.
Now, my view, and I know a lot of people going to get pissed off. I don't care. It's my view. This is not necessarily the view of everybody in Gye-Nyame journey. This is Brother Hatim's view. I think what Bill Cosby did to piss off whoever he pissed off was absolutely nothing. Bill Cosby serves as a model because I'm telling y'all like this, man. If you look at what Bill Cosby did, Bill Cosby is one of those individuals that fell in the hole that a lot of us don't even have the foresight to see that it's a possibility we could feel it. You know what? Bill Cosby did a lot for black folks. But Bill Cosby also did a lot to support the system in which we stand in. And
correct.
And I want y'all to understand, he is letting us know, what happened to him is letting us know that no matter how you try to satisfy the oppressor, no matter how we deal with these individuals, in the end, they always gonna turn on you, family. I'm just saying. I mean, it's or
it could be that this. Okay, So I am aware. I have a friend, right, who was brought up in a family where there was someone raised her that took care of her. I met this girl while I was in foster care, right? Mm-hmm. So this man takes care of her. He provides. Does a lot for her and her family. When she comes of age, he does things that are not right, correct? And what happens is she kind of turned her back on him. And his family was saying, like, how could you do that? He's done this, that, the other for you. But it was like, we look at the good that this man did as if it was an excuse for the bad that he did. All chickens come to roost. Ain't that what Malcolm X said? Your chickens come to roost?
He said the chickens come home to roost. In a particular case, he made that statement. Yeah, with Kennedy.
Yeah, and so that was kind of my thinking, was that if I know that, and I believe that inside that industry, that there are certain things that you must do to become a part in order to, like, people call it the Illuminati, right? And we talk a lot even about sexual abuse of boys, right? You remember that you had the guy that was over the boy bands who was molesting these kids and doing all these improper things. It seems like they were quiet and didn't say anything because they wanted to be rich. They wanted the money. And so
this is my... Now, when you're a child, that's the one thing. But when you're an adult, if you're an adult, which this woman was in 2004, and you decide, I'm going to continue to do this because I want the money, it is no longer rape. That's not called rape to me.
Well, what do they call it if your boss does it to you? So if you feel obligated to participate in something,
let me tell you something. I'm a grown woman, dog. Let my boss think he's going to sexually assault me, and I ain't going to go to the police and report him. And I'm going to do that.
What about inappropriate comments? What about that?
I mean, inappropriate comments to me should not even be criminalized, first of all. I'm a grown woman. I done had men say, you got a fat ass on you and everything. And I know how to say, motherfucker, you can kiss my ass. I know how to put a person in place
Wait,
stop. They don't want to do that no more.
Wait, hold on. So a man says, you got a fat ass, you say, motherfucker, kiss my ass. How you going to reward him for bad behavior? I don't understand.
Oh, shut up, Hot. Well, I might be like, don't say no shit like that to me.
There we go. Okay,
I ain't the one. How's that better? I ain't gonna give him the reward. But I'm gonna say, don't do that shit to me no more. I think this is my thing. Once we start permitting those things once those things become criminal, from my experience and looking at the criminal justice system,
we ain't gonna get no justice.
This gonna be, you know who's gonna affect the most? Us. And our people are going to be going to jail for things like talking to a woman. And now if that dude look good to her, she might take it as a compliment. Just like a brother said to me today, he remembers times when he been on the dance floor with a chick and they grinded and grinded. She's like, no, stop. And then at the end of the night, she giving him some.
Well, I might so bad. I know some women. I had some women complain to me about a man, right? And I would tell him he's all man. So if you come around this man in these short clothes, like I'm trying not to tell too much, but I know some women who like to get attention. They need validation. But then the man that they wasn't trying to impress would give them the attention. Now they went, oh my God, I don't want to be around him because, he's always looking. I said, well, shit, I would look too. You butt naked. What the hell did you think was going to happen when you came out the house?
Wait, hold on.
Right.
I want to read what Brother Robert said. Robert said, good point on Cosby's case. This was at 2207, so that's 1007. But when 60 women say stuff about you, you doing something. Fuck Bill Cosby. Sorry, but I can't ignore mountains of evidence against him. Now, I'm not really versed in the case. Hold on, go ahead.
You know what? There were thousands of people that said we should be slaves. Numbers doesn't equal truth. We should know that by now.
Well, how many people? Think about.
I'm not a Bill Cosby fan. Let me just say that. But to me, this goes bigger than Bill Cosby.
What did we do with OJ? What did we do with OJ?
Wait, hold on.
Well, OJ is OJ. Hey, let me say this though.
Y'all done, wait, hold on. We done went from falling in one type of hole to falling into a whole nother type of hole. But we got somebody else.
Well, we
got somebody else on the line.
Are we talking about holes or sorry, no, I'm not gonna make that joke.
Y'all, hey, hold on. We got somebody else on the line. I want to give them a chance to chime in because they called in. Obviously, they got something to say about this hole that we're talking about. Right, and this is one of the holes everybody's falling in because I think we're focused a little bit too much on Bill himself rather than what's going on. But hold on.
I was gonna make a point.
You got somebody on the line.
Hold your asses on. Miss Tracy, do you have something you want to share with us?
No, I'm just listening.
God damn it, I just went up here and told all these people, oh, God. Oh.
Okay, so let me just say,
I feel like we got away from the table a little bit. I feel like we got away from the quote a little bit.
I'm about to bring it back. I'm about to bring it back, Sister Tracy. So we talk about hoes. We talk about people falling in hoes. Now, I'm going to tell you something that was widely televised that we saw, right? We saw what happened with Emmett Till. We have that in our past. Then we watch it again happen with OJ. Some people say, right? But we see in so many other situations where we can see that same situation, but yet I don't know if we fail to teach that to our young men or if they don't learn the lesson. I think that was one of my greatest fears just from seeing the past with the girls in my Sunday. And then I had a cousin, right? He went to the Bowling Green. This made news in Bowling Green and in other places. I have a cousin that went to Bowling Green, right? So this girl sets him up. She caused rape. This boy was a scholar. He still is. He has a master's. He's doing his thing, but he goes over to Bowling Green. He gets to dating women not of color, right? So the girl sets him up. And the bad thing she did was she told other people. So anyway, she goes to trial for rape. Allegedly, he raped her in the bathroom and forced her to give him oral sex, right? And so what ends up happening is that at some point it comes out that she had already told people that she was going to do this. These people then told the prosecutor prior to them taking him to trial. It comes out on trial that one of the friends says that, I reported this. So the prosecutor comes up on prosecutorial misconduct, right? This is how it ends up making big news because he is, of course, acquitted. He later has to leave the university because even after it's proven that he was innocent and this girl set him up, he was still he was still ridiculed. You know what I'm saying? He was still harassed. So he ended up having to leave anyways. But again, I would tell my son these stories, right? I would tell him about these situations, and they always ended the same. What happened? Maybe sometimes you have to go fall in the hole yourself.
I mean,
you have to dig your way out to get to get it. But we have seen things. We have seen our ancestors. We have seen it's the destruction of a black civilization. They tell us over and over and over and over in the book the actions that we ourselves have that have caused our own demise. Do we do anything different? No. Our ancestors wrote autobiographies. They warned us of these commercial holidays. They warned us of Christmas. They warned us of a whole lot of things. Did we take heed? No. They tell us what caused our failure, what caused us to struggle, right? What hurdles we have put in our own way. Sometimes it's us holding ourselves back. We've watched. We know our history. We know what got us in this situation. Why not avoid it?
We have access to it. See, because remember this. The proverb says, One who falls into a hole teaches everyone else wisdom. But in order to get a lesson from a teacher, you have to humble yourself. You got to be humble so that you can receive. A lot of us are not humble enough to receive a goddamn lesson. So somebody falling in the hole is different because that motherfucker didn't know how to fall, or all I gotta do is take one step to the left, or all I gotta do is take one step to the right, and we're focusing on the hole, but we're not focusing around the surrounding shit into making it towards the hole. We're not really getting the lesson. We're getting a piece of the lesson. We're getting the fact that he failed. We're looking at the fact that Cosby failed. We're looking at the fact that Molly failed. We're looking at the fact that all these places failed. But are we looking at the real history around what caused the fall? And if we are we using that wisdom in our lives and in our nation building and our tribe building right now? And I think that's getting back to what you're saying. Go ahead, man.
All right, first of all, what's going on here? Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Shaka.
Okay. First of all, we're not just talking about an individual who has made some contributions to Black America. In fact, I would go as far as to say that Bill Cosby almost single-handedly raised at least 2 generations of Black folk.
But what he raised
from 2 generations of Black folk. Listen to what I'm saying to you.
Go ahead.
I agree, Shaka, in some form.
Right? So we coming from first man and I Spy to go hand in hand and do weekly missions with a white dude. That wasn't happening before Cosby. We talking about a man who did picture pages and was dealing with, elementary age, primary education, right? Into Fat Albert, where he got into more of the moralistic. Say what?
I think he did Electric Company too on PBS.
That was Morgan Freeman, man. Wasn't
it? Bill Cosby had something to do with that, man. Look at the beginning of Electric Company. Don't hate on the wisdom. I'm old as fuck. I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. I'll peep it. Now check this out. Fat Albert, and even in Fat Albert, bringing the Brown Hornet. Which,
right.
Okay, all right. Now I don't need to go more into that one, but then into Cosby Show. Now this is where it was groundbreaking for Black America, because Cosby Show came up right at the age of, or actually right before the cusp of the crack era.
It came.
You're leaving out a vital piece of Cosby, I think. And I gotta add this in what he did for the Black community. Let me say, 80% of your doctors, Black doctors, graduated from HBCUs. 80%. Most of your scientists that are Black scientists came from HBCUs. Bill Cosby, on his own dime, saved HBCUs, many HBCUs from going under on his dime. He gave millions to keep a lot of HBCUs.
Becky fucked it up. You fucked it up, Becky.
Man, this is powerful.
HBCUs wouldn't even been able to survive as long as they have done.
As soon as allegations was dropped, they started taking back the doctorates, right?
They sure did.
Listen,
they sure did.
But go and let Shaka finish. Go ahead, Shaka.
Okay, and beyond a different world, which is where y'all was coming from. Listen, when his true to life son was murdered, he got back in front of the American audience and did another version of Cosby. Remember that one with Dougie Doug?
And he had the same wife too. You talking about that one?
Right.
Yes. Can I interject?
But I'm gonna tell you where I feel it went wrong. But go ahead.
Can I interject real quick? I think that that you guys are approving Sister Levita, and I think Sister Levita took us down this road a while ago, and I second it. I recall when Barack Obama was put in office, and people had unreasonable expectations, and I kept saying, well, it's great for this black man to be president because it instills a piece of hope. But the reality of it is that he is still a part of politics, which means many tricks. And the people that groomed him to put him in this position, it instills something, like we said before, it takes us back to the first proverb. If we really look at it, we can see the good in it. We can see the good in it, but the reality of it was it was just the same as everything else. Right. And unfortunately, the same way that the powers of be put Barack Obama in office that gave us a sense of hope at the core, you see what I'm saying? Regardless of what policy or what people believe or who he did stuff for, regardless of what you believe, because that's all politics, right? But at the core, down to the individual, that should have put a piece of hope in every one of our children, every one of our hearts. It should have eased the minds of our older elders. You understand? Because they did not think that they would see this time. But that's what happened with Bill Cosby as well. I believe, like I said, I believe that those people who started the United States that put the money in, they still have all the control. And one thing that has been used in this art of war is propaganda. And Bill Cosby was a piece of it. Was a piece of that. He was mass media, which means that the powers of be that control all the wealth and owns all the wealth and distributes all the wealth allowed that to happen, just like they allowed Barack Obama to be president 2 times.
Well, let me say this one. The thing
quick,
about
make it quick because we want to go on. Go ahead.
The thing about Bill is that when we look at influence as power, Bill Cosby, they're attempting to strip him of a lifetime of influence in an age where
Why wouldn't they?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They did the same. They didn't even allow Barack Obama to get out of office. They gave him a second presidency, which is when they really unleashed these racist white folks. When it really became, when the racial climate really changed was with his second election. The first election, they had you think that all of America voted for this man, white and black, so you could ease it, right? They gave us just a taste. And you know what they did the second time? They stripped. They created a culture and climate in America that is conducive to nothing but racism, right? Bigotry, separation, all of that.
But hold on,
you had people coming out calling this man and his wife monkeys. You had, and it was outright blatant. Outright blatant.
And this is part of the issue with some of the stuff that Cosby showed. Cosby, in a sense, for me, showed a raceless piece. You know what I'm saying? A raceless family with no problems, and anybody with problems he put up off the goddamn show. It dealt with nothing that had to do with what was really going on with us. It dealt nothing.
But it gave you a sense of hope.
But hold on, time out. Wait, hold on. But you constantly talk about propaganda. But don't you know that one of the major tricks is to fill people with hope rather than filling them with the reality so that they can feel that shit. And
let's go back to the first proverb, Hatim. Let's go back to the first proverb. Yes, that's why they gave it to us, but what we take and do with it is our own business.
Right, but the point is, wait, hold on, no, Cease, hold on, time out.
They didn't even think about going to college until they seen different worlds. I know people that told me they didn't think about being a lawyer until they saw the Cosby Show.
How many people
could become a doctor until they see the Cosby Show? And when they saw that told them, I want to be like that. I don't have to be like the family that was on Good Times. I can be like this family if I want to.
Now, but we have many people.
Come on now, Sister Levita.
We have many people who did go to the school to be like Bill Cosby and ended up like James Evan and ended up like JJ. You know what I'm saying? Because
flag on the play. Flag on the play. Flag on the play.
No, wait, hold on.
Hold on.
I'm just keeping all the way real because now, listen,
if you want to talk about all of those people, let's talk about the many more who has been responsible for the elevation that has taken place amongst our people.
Well, who were they?
Come on now, you can't.
Who were they? No. I'm bringing up. Well, yes, I can. Yes, I can. No. You sell false stories. I'm selling reality because when you look, time out. Because listen, every time we get on here, y'all going to these illusions. Y'all going to these goddamn. No, I ain't taking nothing away from your people.
Come on now.
I ain't taking nothing away from your people. And I ain't taking nothing away from my people and our people. But what I am saying is there's a real reality out here that we got people, we got kids right now who have aspirations. That have aspirations that they may never be able to reach because my generation, hold on, I ain't finished. Hold on. Because my generation, your generation, and our parents' generation was caught up in our fucking aspirations. We need to be boots on ground, handling business. We got so aspirational that all the motherfucker got to do is just put in a dark-skinned white dude, and all of a sudden, all of us is falling and talking about it's hope. It's hope. Hope ain't never did shit for you. You know what I'm saying? Hope ain't never put no food on the table. People had to go out there and work for that. Come on now.
Inspiration started with an aspiration. All inspiration starts with an aspiration.
And inspiration starts with an IN, which means it's in. What about outspiration? Our people need outspiration. They need action. They don't. We got enough inspiration.
You don't see
come on now.
You don't see no.
You can't look at the Cosby Show. You can't look at the Cosby Show and see.
Is this not in action? Is this not in action? We do have action. We have people.
Hey, I ain't just count. You the one that took it to what other people was doing. You the one that I'm talking about Cosby. You want to bring up other people. You know what I'm saying? You want to bring all those people, all those people that became lawyers and doctors because they saw Bill Cosby. But what good is it? What good is it doing it when you look at the median income for black families right now is lower than probably before Cosby came on? The median income for the black family, for the black aspirational family is $1,700.
That I don't believe none of those.
Come on now. And
exactly.
I don't believe that either.
Okay, you don't have to.
I don't believe that.
You don't have to.
I don't believe that.
You know what I'm saying? So if you don't believe it, don't ever bring those statistics up on my show. Never.
This doesn't affect the growth. I'm not going to say this affects the gross majority, but I'm going to say this. I've said this before on this show. I have people that I know that will not check that they are black on the damn census stuff on applications. They have a problem with the term black, right? That's why I want to go back to James' remake. I'm black and I'm proud because I need people to have a sense of pride. So I got people right now that I know doing things that don't check the damn box because they got a whole issue with being black, and that's not a lot of people. I just say it's a gross majority.
What this got to do with what I'm saying?
That's why I don't trust a lot of the statistics. I'm looking. I'm watching.
Well, let's look at our kids.
I'm looking. I'm watching.
Let's look at some of the kids we work with. Let's look at our kids.
I'm seeing elevation.
Let's look at our kids.
We may not be on the equal field with those who had a head start, but I'm telling you, we're making progress. This is elevation.
Where?
And I won't.
Where we making progress? Where we making progress? See, this is what bothers me. We talk about where's this progress?
I just told you what
Where's it at?
I can use the people that I know that I grew up in the process with. I can use all the people that I grew up in.
There is progress. And the progress is, there was a time, listen, if I could walk out on the street right now and I see black people in home ownership, people, I know most of my friends own their home.
Don't make me pull out my statistics. Don't make
and they're
me do it.
paying for their home.
Progress.
Don't make me do
Progress.
it.
We might not be on the even
Do you
field,
know?
but
Do
we're
you
making
know?
progress.
Do you know
We
that
are-
right now I'm gonna have to find these numbers, but the house ownership for black folks is lower than it was probably in the 70s.
Yes, I do know that. I know.
So
that.
how's that progress?
I do know
If
that.
we're going backwards, how's that progress? Tell me.
We can't. How are you comparing yourself with
Oh, my
others when we need to compare
No,
ourselves with
no,
ourselves?
No. I'm talking. No, who I'm comparing us to
talking about the
is our
statistics that
ancestors.
you quoted about our annual income. I can't see
I
that
am
statistic being
So you
true.
wait, time out.
Already know. We took a decline?
Family.
Yes. But as far as that statistic is concerned, though, I can't see where our income medium is $17,000.
No, I ain't no time out.
I can't.
Time out. See, first off, and this is where I get upset. Y'all don't listen to me. Sometimes y'all hear me, but y'all don't listen to me. I never said anything about income. I said wealth. This means the money after everything is paid for. Because all of us know, wait, let me finish. Hold on. Let me finish. Because all of us know, we might know people that supposedly own a house, but we know that they really don't own a house because they're struggling with the payment. Because you got a mortgage does not mean,
What is the house?
wait, hold on, time out. And I said wealth.
I got you on that.
And I want you to think about that, Miss It's Getting Better in America. I want you to think about that. Right? And we're moving
getting better.
Then where's the progress? Is what I'm telling you, because right now if we don't approach our children and be honest, if we don't be honest about the holes, because many of us have fell down in holes and we're not even yelling up to the damn kids, don't come this way.
Right.
Many of us
I agree that you have digressed, but I'm referring just to that whole income thing. And if you're saying that our net
I ain't say income. Listen to me.
Not the income.
Listen to me.
I got a comment.
Listen, okay, but let me finish. I want to make sure you heard what I said. Wealth. And if I say income, I misspoke.
Okay,
but hold on. I want you to be clear, because we need to. I want to make sure that you understand what wealth is.
I mean, I got it.
Okay, cool.
I agree with you. I can agree with you.
And that's the median. That's the median. So below 50% of the people, 50% of people like us have 1,700 and less. 50% have above that.
Let me say this. I say it all the time. If we want change, we have to learn how to keep more of it in our pocket, right? So when I think about the difference with us and our buying power and the fact that we are our buying power and the fact that we are making progress, but what the thing is that we were tricked. We were tricked back in the 1920s, and we were convinced that our wealth was determined by the things that we own. Whenever they took it out and they stopped basing, and this was something that we learned once we got north, when they stopped basing it off of your worth as far as your contribution to your community, when your status no longer depended on that and it depended on the things that you own. We got tricked into this consumer society, and that is one of our downfalls. That is what led us to
I agree with her, Tim.
Lady J.
Our wealth may be 17,000.
Lady J.
I got it, and
Lady J.
I agree too.
Lady J.
We spend stupidly.
Lady J, you are.
And we own.
Lady J.
And it's all about ownership. It's all about ownership. But I will say, still with that, and then I'm going to stop.
No, you're not,
but
because you don't stop.
Also say, yes, I am. What I will also say is I still, even though I agree with you on I'm not even going to say even though, because I want you to know that I do 100% agree with you when it comes to ownership and wealth, our equity. Right? What we can borrow against land. We don't have that, but it's not because we don't have the means to own it. It's because again, we didn't have that head start. Right? There were laws and everything that kept us, just like Lady J. Levita said. But right now, we are in a position where we are making progress.
No, we're making more. Listen, we are making money still. We make money.
And we're owning businesses. Look at some of these young.
I thought you was done. I thought you was done.
There's a decrease in business ownership in the black community. since the 70s. True.
What about entrepreneurship?
True.
What about
But hold on,
entrepreneurship?
if you look, but Lady J, the issue
but we have a decrease because we decided, because of our spending trends, we have had a decrease.
Once we did with the whole it is one of our
desegregation thing, we started spending and giving our wealth to others. And now we have a decrease in our community of our own wealth.
1920s, the new slavery.
Hold on, you said you was going to stop. Stop. You told me you was going to stop. Right?
I'm done.
And the only thing that I ask people is on our show, I'm with Mayat. I'm about balance. See, because all this positive, too much positive is just as bad as too much negative.
You read the proverb.
But what I'm saying is, you have to be able. Wait, time out. If I focus,
what your ancestors said.
Yeah, and I understand what the ancestors said. I'm trying to wonder if you understand. Because because people that come at us and be talking this positive shit and this aspiration shit, but not really dealing with the reality or teaching our children the reality so that they know, listen, you are in a race. And you have to either one, like I said on my morning show, either you have to be a rule changer or a game changer. Because the way the rules are set up is set up for other people to constantly win. So we got to come out fighting, and we need all of our soldiers to be aware of where the enemy is, or they will turn around and shoot us because they don't know what the enemy is.
Hotep is our goal.
Yeah, but Hotep I'm gonna bust your ass up on that too. You're right, Hotep is our goal, but we first have to have Hotep with ourselves. If you with me, I got Hotep with you. If you against me, I'm rolling over your ass. I don't have Hotep with my motherfucking enemies. I don't.
Hotep is our goal.
And you shouldn't either. We take that shit, we take these sayings, and we take these principles, and we expand them to the rest of the world and to all people of color before we apply them to ourselves. And that keeps us losing. We're not facing the reality. We are on a team, and you cheering for the other team.
I do say what you're saying, I totally agree, because, again, it was written in the destruction of a black civilization. Just what you just said. It is our willingness to open up and all of those things. That is what it led to our demise. It's a mistake that we have made. And Sister Levita
so
just said it too.
Why are we making it now?
Desegregation. When we look for the best place for African Americans to live, all of I'm going to say 90% of them say that they are in segregated places. Segregated places where blacks live amongst their own. The most number one places for blacks to move in the United States are all segregated places. So definitely, and it was written in that book. I read it over and over. It was the theme of the book. So once again, I believe that. But when I say Hotep is our goal, what I'm saying is we have to keep our eye on the prize. We have to have hope. We have to have faith in the unseen. We have to have a vision for ourselves and a place in which we're working towards. If we don't look at my faith in you? If we don't look at our gains, if we don't look at our gains, if we don't look at the path that our ancestors have paid for us, that we can continue knocking down. And sometimes building upon that, if we can't see the positive out there, we're going to be defeated.
No. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's like telling the team that's 34-0 at halftime, hey, well, let's look at the positives that we're doing. No, I need to look at the problems so that I can set a fucking strategy so that I can beat these motherfuckers. I'm not trying. Listen, I don't mind some of us doing this, but if we talking about real nation building, family, if we're talking about real nation building, and I'm looking at the goddamn hole, and I'm like, I'm trying to make the hole pretty, because I know you're going to fall into it, so I'm going to make it look pretty for you. I'm going to make you comfortable in your hole.
That's not what I'm suggesting.
No, but hold on. No, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. But I want you to hear. Hold on. No, stop. All I'm saying is, we get so positive that we start to morph reality sometime. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think so.
I do.
I don't think so.
Because this is why I could go into a classroom full of our children, and they be chilling in the classroom like they got it made.
Okay. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about
no,
that.
No. We're not going to talk about that because we're not going to do the 2 hours. I'm very frustrated right now, and I don't even want to go no farther. I'm serious. I know.
Can I just say this, please, Miss Tim?
Stop.
Please.
No.
Can I say something? I don't want. And then I want to know. I don't want
no more pretty slogans. I don't want none of that shit.
No slogans. But I want to say to you, we work in the same. And what I can say is that your institution's a lot smaller than the institution I work within, right? So the numbers are going to be off. It's not going to be proportioned. But what I can tell you is that when I felt brokenhearted today, right? At some point, I'm working all day to do something, 2 things, projects, very special. I'm working on major stuff, and I go into these places in my building, and the kids are acting in ways that are just, and so my heart was hurting. But what I had to remind myself is that the gross majority, when I look at our report card, when I see the strides that we have made, the gross majority of my kids in my building are doing the right thing. It's that 10% that we focus on, right? But these kids they're doing marvelous things, right? Marvelous. But we would focus on that 10%. It's not the reality. It's not the reality. But when we get so caught up on that 10%, that third tier at the top, not the majority, but the minority, and the things that they are doing, it diminishes what the gross majority is doing.
It's 5%. And it's 5% on the top. It's 10% on the second tier, and it's the 85 at the bottom. So okay. I mean, because the 5% can't help themselves. The 5% can't help themselves. So we got to give them extra time. The 10% are the ones that make choices, and we have to try to motivate their choices to move in a different direction. But this is the problem for me, Lady J. We got 85% of this pyramid that you was just talking about that's just sitting there silent and accepting this shit. It's cool.
No,
it's cool. Wait, it's cool. Wait, it's cool. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. It's cool.
I don't believe that.
Oh, wait. It's
cool.
Believe that. It's cool. And I'm like, cool. I'm like, all right, cool. And like I said, we often bump heads. But I want to give. Hold on. I want to give everybody. I want to give everybody a chance to say goodbye because we got to end this because we'll be here all night. And you know I got to get up early. You got to get up early. Sister Navita got to get up early. Shaka might have to get up early. I know Miss Tracy have to get up early.
I get up when I get up. I know I'm just
You know what I'm saying? And plus I got to do the toast. And I don't want to be getting up toasting talking about this shit because I'm mad because I'm about to go to bed. I'm about to go to bed.
I'm going to say this because I want to say in closing, if we just take a look back into what we was doing when we had more black-owned businesses, we had black-owned hospitals, grocery stores, etc. When we had those things, let's find out what we did to get those things popping and bring it back to that. Because it was happening before, and we can get it on that level again.
Shouts out to Sister Navita. Who next?
I just want to fair good night to all of those listening and all of those who are going to listen in the future. I do want to remind all of you that we are in the midst of the Great Awakening. Continue to do something every day, each and every day, in support of the movement. That includes reading books and articles, sharing those books and articles, posts, podcast, this podcast, on your social media, donating to a cause, volunteering your time or services. Rec centers, youth organizations are looking for people of character, right? Who will be impressing positive things onto our youth. They're looking for volunteers. So go volunteer your time if you have it to do. Use your social media networks to enlighten and inform. Propaganda is most important, as we talk about all the time on this show. This is a form of propaganda. So many things forms of propaganda, and we just have to learn how to use that to our advantage as a war, a weapon of war, in this psychological war that we are in the midst of. We talk about Bill Cosby tonight in his show, in the socialization that took place with it. The people who had a vision, a dream, who was given the willpower to do things that they didn't think they could do, or that those who came before them did not do, right? So just remember that is propaganda. We all have a platform that we can use to promote and bombard our kids and ourselves and our peers' minds with positive images of us. Remember to petition, march, plan peaceful protests. As long as you're participating politically, that's what's most important. The best thing for us to do, I believe, is to boycott. If we want change, we got to learn how to keep more of it in our pockets. The choice is ours. We are responsible We are responsible. Get active.
You added a bunch of shit to your ending monologue, and I will deal with you when I see you, Lady J, because you playing with me. You playing with me. Who next?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, what I would like to do is to challenge you all tonight to, when we think of progress, we think of an ascension that comes along with that. Not a progress that goes from point A to point B or even to point Z. Because at the end of the day, if we are on the same plane as when we started our work, we have not made the type of progress that is essential in this day and age in moving into this, what the sister called the Great Awakening. All right. So, what I'd also like to deliver to you all this evening. Man, it was right there. It was right there.
Dark Girls documentary, October 6th.
Yeah, we got Dark Girls coming up on October the 6th at 3 p.m. at the Millennium Community School. You come and you can argue with us in public. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing for us to no, really, one of the lessons of nation building is we got to learn how to have conflict. I can't get rid of my sister. That's my sister, and we're gonna disagree. Just like my blood sister, my spiritual sister, I'm going to fall out with you. We ain't gonna agree, but we do understand what the enemy is.
I'm sure.
Brother Shaka, are you done buffering?
I think I'm done for this evening.
All right. Miss Tracy, it's on you. So what you going to do?
I didn't hear you.
We closing out. You got any closing words for the people?
No, I'm complete.
Okay. All right. So, family, I want to thank everybody for joining us on Facebook. We on Facebook right now. We got friends and family on YouTube. We on Periscope. We on Stream.me. We on YouNow. And, of course, we on Spreaker. I'm sending shots and love to all of y'all, letting y'all know that you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Welcome to the Congregation of the Mighty. This is a Heart of December production. Of course, this has been Tribal Quotes, and we were joined by some magnificent guests. Shouts out to Miss Tracy. Shouts out to Brother Shaka. Shouts out to Lady J. Shouts out to Sister Nabita. I seen, of course, Brother Kwame was in the room. And shouts out to you, Mr. Estes. Thank you for joining us. It was good to see you, or at least hear from you again. And family, make sure you like and share. Like I said, get your t-shirt, get a book, support the journey, because we trying to get a van. And we got to get mobile around the city so that we can go pick people up and have real discussions with our children from all angles. From all angles. So with that, I'm going to say peace. And I'm going to say, y'all have a great night. We are out. Peace out.